Hello and welcome back to S02E02. This is my review and Easter eggs video for Star Trek Discovery Season 2, Episode 2, New Eden. Frankly, I could go on about this episode, or more to the point, its central theme, for hours, but I won't. I'm going to try and keep this video short and sweet. And so to start this off, I'll just say that the fact that I truly want to discuss in depth the central theme of this episode, which is the juxtaposition of faith and science, rather than the inconsistencies in canon or the strange character development, already says so much about the episode. Because yes, when reviewing Discovery, most of us have a tendency of focusing on what many would consider trivial things. There should be no holograms, the technology is too advanced, the Klingons don't look right. But that's not the reviewer's fault, is it? It's the episode's fault for not giving us anything of true consequence to talk about. But as I said just a few moments ago, New Eden is different. New Eden delivers substance. Reminiscent of the original series episode The Paradise Syndrome, following a classic Star Trek trope of humans being somewhere they shouldn't or couldn't possibly be, New Eden almost feels like the first Star Trek episode of Star Trek Discovery. Personally, I wouldn't go as far as putting the episode up there with The Next Generation's Darmok or Deep Space Nine's The Visitor, but I have seen people do so online. Now, whether we agree or disagree with those people doesn't matter. What does matter, however, is that New Eden has had an impact. It's creating discussion about something deep, something important, and I couldn't congratulate the writers enough. Good job, seriously. So yeah, the episode tackles the theme that is science and faith. It brings us an eclectic group of characters that all have their own ideas, philosophies, and has them interact, debate, argue their own points of view. But the brilliance of it all lies in one of the first Pike lines of dialogue, where he establishes that his father taught both science and religion. And there you have it. An episode that doesn't take sides, or that, for once, doesn't put science at odds with religion. From the get-go, you understand it's possible to embrace, or at least understand both. And that helps you so much when watching these very opinionated characters have at each other. Politely. They have at each other politely. I know, I said I wouldn't ramble on about the central theme. I'm terrible. Putting that aside for the moment, generally speaking, the episode is good, alright? It's not great television, sure, but it was a solid episode of Star Trek. Masterfully directed by Jonathan Frakes, we get to not only see some more of the bridge officers, but we also get beautiful performances by the main cast and guest actors alike. Jacob, the character living on the planet, the guy motivated by science, was complex and layered, and Andrew Moody's performance was outstanding. The episodic format of the Star Trek of old and the serialized format of modern television come together very well. We know we're on a mission to investigate the red bursts. That's the overarching plot of the season, but here and now, we have a planet to save and an away mission to go on. It works. Not only this, but the story is divided up into two clear plots, and at no point is the episode weighed down by a space race tangent or something similar. On the contrary, we get a cargo bay scene with Tilly that I absolutely loved. The moment reminded me so much of Data or LaForge when they run diagnoses in their cargo bay. Same kind of equipment, same kind of setup. Some things still bug me a lot, yeah, like the show's incessant need to constantly congratulate itself. Discovery is always patting itself on the back, much like the movie Abomination that is A Wrinkle in Time, right? I mean, for example, the clapping. Can we stop with the clapping already? Every time the crew manages anything, they clap with this motivational background music. It's too much. It's too much, is what it is. I suppose this kind of scene caters to a younger audience that constantly needs positive reinforcement in order to be able to thrive in life, but it just doesn't work for me. I also don't understand why the red bursts have to be so far away. Okay, actually let me rephrase that. I'm not a fan of the spore drive. I feel like it makes the universe smaller and takes away the fun of exploration, but if the red bursts were all close together, logically, many Starfleet ships could check them out, and this adventure would no longer be USS Discovery focused. So from a storytelling standpoint, since the spore drive was already there, it does make sense to use it. I just hope that this season somehow proves to us, the audience, and to the characters on the show, that the technology is not viable, and that the spore drive gets permanently decommissioned. That being said, the visual effects were beautiful, the location filming worked, the way Tilly's hallucination plotline was set up was intriguing. Clearly it has something to do with the green spore from season 1. Overall, it was a good episode. Okay, let's move right along to the Easter eggs and references I could spot. Starting with Pike mentioning the red burst is about 51,300 light years away, and how at maximum warp that would take them about 150 years to get there. People online have managed to calculate that Voyager went about 3 times that speed. This would mean that although most of us never would have realized it, Discovery is in fact respecting the original series warp scale, which differs from the later Next Generation warp scale. Speaking of Voyager, it would seem that the USS Discovery and the USS Voyager share the same doorbell chimes, though granted a little pitched.
Come.
Come in.
For those that would say this is an anachronism, it's not. All you need to do is tell yourself that these sounds were first used in the Discovery era and then repurposed for Voyager. World War III is mentioned. That war spanned from 2026 to 2053, though we've never really seen any of its events on screen. Star Trek First Contact, the movie, takes place as its ending, and the information from both that movie and this episode of Discovery is identical. It's explained that the war indeed ended in 2053, and there were around 600 million deaths. The asteroid in the cargo bay is said to contain Metreon particles. I couldn't for the life of me try to explain what they are, but know this: Metreon is one of those common technobabble words that comes up now and then in Star Trek. Tilly mentions a Ryzen Mai Tai, a drink featured in Enterprise, and we learn that she attended Musk Junior High School. This is the second reference Discovery has made to Elon Musk. To finish this off, I think it's imperative we talk about the Red Angel, though keep in mind this is no longer Easter egg or reference territory, this is pure speculation. You've entered the Theorycraft zone. Most of the online Star Trek fandom strongly believes the Red Angel is an Iconian, more specifically Tiket. In canon, the Iconians were an ancient race that thrived in the galaxy a good 200,000 years before any of what we've seen on screen take place. They were the ones who built the gateways that can transport a person from one place to another in the blink of an eye. And that's about all we know. In Star Trek Online, the very not canon video game, a few Iconians were revealed to be alive, and it is true that a side-by-side comparison makes the Red Angel from Discovery look very similar to Tiket, the Star Trek Online Iconian. Do what you want with that information. I'm personally not too fond of having Iconians on Discovery. I would rather that the Red Angel be something new, but, you know, whatever. Okay. As usual, thank you so much for watching. Remember to comment, leaving me, Easter eggs that you have found, if you found any others. Share with your friends, like, subscribe, and most of all, live long and prosper.